The Green Bay Packers just got some fantastic news around the entire NFC. I believe that the Green Bay Packers have what it takes to win the Super Bowl, and I need to also be frank with you. I am not a Packers fan. I'm actually more of a Lions fan than any of these other NFC teams. But this channel, it's all about bringing fair minded, in context, perspective, and takes around the different teams. And I believe actually that the Green Bay Packers, out of any team in the division, including the Bears, could go on and win the Super Bowl. Today, I want to break down why. But I also want to talk again about some of the weaknesses, about some of the things going around the team. There's some good news even about Jordan Love. He's going to be back. He's a full participant in practice. He looks like he's cleared. He's good to go. We're going to break that down in a moment. But today in this episode, I'm going to break down a bunch of reasons why there's massive flaws in the teams in the NFC and why there's also some strengths, again, some fair-minded strengths of the Green Bay Packers and why I believe that they could go win the dang thing this year. But again, in all of it, my name is Colin. We are the NFC North Guys. Hit subscribe to this channel. Join our community. We're just getting started. We've got some awesome content coming later on. But the first thing I want to start by talking about is really the odds. When you look at the NFC, frankly, it is a gauntlet. You look at the Seahawks, the Rams, the 49ers, man, that division is very, very difficult. It's very reminiscent of our NFC North with the Lions, the Bears, and the Packers. Who cares about the Vikings? But then when you look down a little bit, you see that the Packers are plus 1,800 to win the ship. And the Packers, as you know, I don't have to remind you, have some real issues. You know, we just signed Trayvon Diggs to the squad. His PFF grades have not been good this year. We'll see if he can have a resurgence with Jair Alexander leaving this last year, you know, and with all the things associated with that. The pass defense for the Packers hasn't been the same. There's major vulnerabilities in the pass defense, especially on later downs. You guys know this. I feel this. I see this. That really, and especially now without Micah Parsons generating the pressure up front, the third downs have been a big struggle. Trayvon Diggs being added could turn this defense around. There are some things with him that we could expect. He was a ball hawk when for a lot of the time he spent with the Cowboys when he was healthy. That's a positive. But another thing, maybe just to acknowledge a weakness for the Packers, is that we've really struggled with the run defense, especially as of late. This game against the Ravens was really painful. And I'm just setting some context here, but also, of course, the big one with the Micah Parsons injury. It's just a recognition that this pass rush is not the same. Our run stuffing, our pass rush is not the same, but we've bolstered and added some strength on the back end with Trayvon Diggs. We'll see if it helps, but within that, with that context in mind, I think it's important for us, again, just to have a reality check that we can look in the mirror, or we can look at a team like the Packers, and you can be a Packers fan. You can be like, man, this team is terrible. There's no way they're doing anything. And I actually, as someone who's not natively a Packers fan, think the opposite. I actually think this team is really good. As a guy who was watching the Thanksgiving game against the Lions, just recognizing that this team has a lot of talent. This team has a lot of skill. We know that Christian Watson is back and he's playing really, really well. We know the Wicks and the Dubs and some of these other guys. There's a lot of opportunity. But I think sometimes in conversations around teams, we can get so negative and so down. And so I want to just break down maybe a couple of the things happening around other teams. But first and foremost, again, Jordan Love fully cleared, good to go. But beyond that, the top team right now that I think is going to be the most difficult team is this Seattle Seahawks team. And a lot of people know this, and they know that there's some weaknesses, but they really struggle to cover tight ends. I believe the Green Bay Packers utilize tight ends really well. Not only do they struggle to cover tight ends, but they have the most turnover-prone quarterback in the entire NFL. While Sam Darnold, in some sense, has had a resurgence in his career and got the new contract and went over to Seattle, he's also really struggling in a lot of senses. If he didn't have JSN on his team, they would not be doing well. They rank 31st in the NFL and have allowed or have had 28 giveaways this season. We'll talk about some of the turnovers in a little bit with some of these other teams, specifically the Bears, but it is contributing to major inconsistencies in performance. This is a team that the Packers, especially with an addition like Trayvon Diggs, who could be a ball hawk, who could get some of these turnovers, could absolutely take advantage of this team But not only that, when we look at, again, maybe just broadly some of these turnovers, yeah, you've got the Bears up top. But when you scroll down and just look, the Seattle Seahawks are not winning the turnover battle consistently. And those matter tremendously down the stretch, especially as you're playing in colder climates, in colder weather. But I also want to talk a little bit here about the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, one of the teams I spent a lot of time covering is the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills just had this crazy rainstorm game against the Philadelphia Eagles. And in that game, in the second half, the Philadelphia Eagles didn't have more than 20 yards. And the Buffalo Bills have major issues on their defensive side, on the defensive side of the ball. Saquon Barkley was held to the biggest carry that he had was 16 yards and 9 yards. And outside of that, he basically did absolutely nothing. But the Eagles have really struggled against the blitz. Now, can the Green Bay Packers blitz without Micah Parsons? We're still yet to see this. You know, Lamar Jackson had an all right, or not Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens had an all right game recently, but within that, it's got to be, you know, when I'm looking at the Eagles and I'm looking at this team and I'm looking at the way the Packers would even match up to this team, I think they can outplay them. I think they can score more points on the Eagles than the Eagles can score on the Packers. I think they can win that game. I think this is actually, despite even past performance and even some of the issues against the Philadelphia Eagles, this is a team who has got just as many issues, got just as many injuries, and is struggling in their offensive play calling to really move the ball down the field. But the one in our division, well, again, can the Super Bowl champion Eagles continue? I don't know. I don't think they can. But also, when I'm looking at the Bears right now, the Bears have some really interesting statistics around them. First and foremost, they're really bad at covering slot receivers. They're allowing the most yards in the entire NFL to the slot receiver. So whatever we utilize, however we scheme against them, we will take advantage of that. The only team that's worse is the Denver Broncos. But even with that being said, Chicago really, really stinks at pass rush. They are 25th in the league in pass rush, specifically in sacks, 29th in pressure rate. So they're actually getting lucky on sacks, but they're struggling even with 4 or 5-man fronts even to get after the quarterback. And in recent games, even against some playoff teams, we've seen them struggle. I'm interested to see how they play against the Lions this week. But not only that, there is some major defensive breakdowns later in games. We saw them just go in this boat race against the 49ers, who themselves, Brock Purdy's playing good as of late. But when I'm looking at this Bears team, they are not a team on defense that is going to hold things down. The thing that's actually really disconcerting for this team actually is that the Chicago Bears are the top team when it comes to turnovers. What that screams to me is major regression coming. They're plus 22 and the next highest is plus 14 with a defense in the Houston Texans that are probably the top defense in the NFL, if we're being honest. Maybe the Broncos, maybe the Houston Texans, but this Chicago Bears team, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson get these interceptions and coming in and playing well. Like, it's just not as sustainable. If they're not getting the pass rush that they need, the quarterbacks, the wise quarterbacks, the smart quarterbacks, the Jordan Loves of the world are going to pick this Bears defense apart. Now, a couple quick things on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't have any slides for them, but their defense is just collapsing. We'll see if they get in or if the Panthers get in. I won't talk too much about them because of that, but they've got some major vulnerabilities against the run, even though they've got Vita Vea and even though they've got some of these other guys, but they have a lack of pass rush talent as well. But the next team I want to talk about here a little bit is the Rams. The Rams early on this season looked like the team to beat. They looked like they were really strong, really good, like they could dominate about every single team. But the Rams do have real weaknesses. Their short yardage run defense issues are going to cost them playoff games. They have a 74% fail rate against short yardage runs, and I believe the Green Bay Packers have in multiple running backs and in the line the ability to take advantage of that, allowing the Rams are allowing opponents to convert crucial downs, which again, those third and shorts or those second and shorts get turned into first downs, and those first downs turn into chunk plays down the stretch and ultimately touchdowns as you continue down the field. But not only that, they are struggling against opposing offenses and struggling against pass games. The cornerback room has major vulnerabilities on the Rams with a lack of proven talent, even behind maybe some of their notable cornerbacks. But not only that, down the stretch of the season, again, Earlier this season, I was like, man, this Rams team is going to be incredible. But down the stretch of the season, they have really, really struggled overall. But the last team I want to briefly talk about before I get into the three positives about the Green Bay Packers and why I think they can make a deep playoff run is the 49ers. And the 49ers, again, coming off this big win against the Bears, they ultimately, with Nick Bosa out, they lack consistent pass rush. They are dead last in the NFL with only 18 sacks, they're 29th in the league in pass rush win rate and last in pressures, and they're allowing quarterbacks to have so much time. Caleb Williams, for all get out, just ripped them apart. But they also, because of these massive injuries, not just to Nick Bosa, but across the defensive unit, have a really, really hard time keeping contain on quarterbacks. Again, something Jordan Love could absolutely take advantage of. But not only that, even though they have Christian McCaffrey in their offensive system, when you look at, there's some quotes about Nick Bosa there if you want to see it. We'll talk about the Packers run in a second, but their run game, yes, Christian McCaffrey's catching like 8 balls a game for like 100 yards. He is all over the place, but their run game is pretty inefficient right now. They have a 28th overall in red zone efficiency in the run game, which is absolutely something the Packers could match up with and do well with. But hey, three quick reasons on why I believe Jordan Love and this Packers team could make a run. First and foremost, there has been a demonstrable success of Jordan Love in clutch situations to win down in the end of games in the second half. He earlier on this season, a 3-game winning streak, 6 touchdowns, 0 turnovers, ranking in the top of the NFL in some of these clutch metrics. He has limited pass rush or limited interceptions all season. And again, with Christian Watson's resurgence, the deep ball, the run game has opened up. The deep ball is available. Wicks and Dobbs, man, if there was Tucker Kraft on this team right now, it would be a totally different game. We'd feel so much better about where the Packers are going. But the quarterback stability positions the Packers for a deep playoff run because there's so many unproven NFC quarterbacks that really Jordan Love has been to the game before. He's been to the dance. He can walk in with a level of success. But not only that, I believe there is offensive resilience and depth, even if Jordan Love has more complications and more injuries. Now, we know the big, head injury or whatever, but Malik Willis has showed a consistency even behind him. He just had an all-world game this last week. He's playing really, really well. And even with Kraft and Reed having their own injuries, there is a synchronization of this offense, a synergy of this offense that they are churning yards. Yes, they have lost a couple of games, they have dropped a couple here, but it's not on offense. And I think the Green Bay Packers offense is right up there with all the other top offenses in the NFC. Can they get a couple turnovers? Because that will absolutely change the games down the stretch. And just so we are clear, the NFL playoffs is really the start of the season, in my opinion. A team that makes the playoffs starts off 0-0. They have every opportunity to make a run, and I believe, again, the Green Bay Packers do. And not only with that, even maybe with all that being said, I believe that the NFC, even though the NFC West teams and even though the Bears are there and the Phillies there, I think there is every opportunity in the world for this Packers team to make a run. Love's leadership on this team cannot be understated. This team has, again, every tool that they need on offense and even some reloaded weapons on the defense on the back end to get this thing going and to run the table down the stretch. And I'm not even saying that as a Packers fan. I'm just saying that because this team has shown me time and time again that they can make powerful, deep runs when they need to. Jordan Love can have an Aaron Rodgers type run. We'll see if it happens. And all of that, my name is Colin. We are the NFC North Guys. Have a great day. See you later.